Hello everyone! My name is Jennifer Stay and welcome to Coloring Bliss and our weekly live event. This is part 2. The first part was over on Facebook. It was pretty short because Facebook is still having streaming issues. So we are back here with you on YouTube where streaming seems to be going just fine. So we're here to enjoy a blissful afternoon, evening, whatever it is in your part of the world, and have fun because I have a question for you. Am I going watercolor crazy? I'm pulling out all my water-friendly art media lately and just rediscovering, that's the word, rediscovering it because I've, been so frustrated with so much of it because it doesn't work well on normal paper. But when you use it on the right paper, on watercolor paper, then all of a sudden everything just works like it's supposed to. Imagine that. Pair the right art tool with the right paper and everything works correctly. So it's been so much fun to rediscover all these beautiful tools that I have and get them out and start using them again. So much fun. So today what I want to do with all of you is just be crazy. Pull it all out. Play with it. I want you to tell me, I've been wanting to see you use these tools. Get them out, Jennifer. Let's play with them. So that's what we're going to do. Just play and have fun with these beautiful art tools together. So I've got some in front of me right here that I've been swatching. We talked a little bit about swatching and how much value you get out of swatching your tools. And I've been swatching a tool that I've had for a while. That's these Gonzai Kuretake paints, and it's just so valuable. Look at how beautiful they turned out here. Look at that, so pretty. 24 colors. This is my watercolor swatch book. I think this is which volume is this? Volume 1, which is a swatching catalog. Every page has 60 swatches, so I can just swatch one tool right after another. So I've got the first ones in here, and now I can just keep swatching. And I was telling them all about how now I can see the color, the way the paint is going to act on the actual paper that my coloring pages are printed on. How cool is that? So this set right here, if you've been looking into it as a possibility to purchase, it's available on Amazon. I think according to the box, it says it's available in 12, 18, 24, and 36 colors. So there's a lot to pick from there. And I think this is the 24 set right here. And they went down really pretty. They are sort of opaque. That means that they're not exactly a watercolor. They are Gonzai paints. So they're a little bit different, a little fun to play with, something a little new and exciting. And the box is really pretty. Look at that box. It had a place for me to swatch inside the box as well. So it's just so much fun to pull out all these watercolor tools and play with it. Now we also have Father's Day coming, and so Steve and I decided to open up one of the premium library coloring pages so that everyone can celebrate the men in their lives. And this is the page. Come and download it. There's a link in the video description that you can come and download this for free and color it and enjoy the manly men in your in your lives. This page right here we drew last year. It's called a manly coloring page, and Steve has requested that I draw at least one new coloring page for this Father's Day, and he wants me to title it Another Manly Coloring Page, and he's requested that I draw a steak, a beef steak on it. So we know at least one of the images on Another Manly Coloring Page will be a steak, and I'm trying, hopefully he'll want to color next week, next Wednesday. So I'm hoping he's going to kind of keep an eye on all the tools we're going to play with today, and maybe next Wednesday we can get him in this chair with watercolor paper and play with some of these fun watercolor supplies that inspires him, and we'll have a new manly coloring page that he can color a steak. So that's the plan for next week. Also, Steve has created a new swatch page. If you are one of our Bliss boosters and you have access to our premium library and you've been wanting another swatch page with 72 swatches per page, this one is available for you. You can download it, print it on whatever paper you want to print it on. Maybe it's color pencil paper or just standard cardstock. You can print it onto there and swatch your sets of pencils, markers, whatever you've got, gel pens. It's there and ready for you. So thanks, Steve, for making that for us. Okay, so those are the 2 pages. I'll just go down like this so those of you who missed out on my spiel about these paints over on Facebook can see them real quick and see how the swatches turned out. Very pretty paints. I'm excited to play with them some more. This is what the packaging looks like that. I'm going to keep that on there. This was on the outside of the box, and I don't want to lose that, so I'm just going to keep it on there. And look how pretty. Anybody else want to come with me to Japan to go art supply shopping? I think we need to, we keep saying this, but I think we need to put together a big field trip and just go to Japan and go art supply shopping. Let's all just go to Japan. Okay, so I want to know what water-friendly art supplies you guys want me to dive into and play with. So I'm going to put my swatch book to the back and bring up my...
Now, Polly had asked about your line down the middle, the black line.
Yeah. So I follow a lot of watercolorists, some like professional watercolorists. I know enough about watercolor paint to, what do I say? To make me dangerous. That's what I know. I am not a professional watercolorist, but I am striving to learn a lot about it. And one of the things I've seen them do when they swatch their watercolors is they always put a black line straight down the swatch square, and then they swatch right on top of the black line. Now I used a black Sharpie because that's won't budge underwater. And then they swatch right over the black line. This lets them see if the paint is truly transparent or if it's opaque. Like you can see here, like this malachite is a really good example. You can see how you can barely see that black line where the paint is at full strength here at the top. You can barely see that black line through the malachite paint. Where up here on the red paint on full strength, you can still see that black line. So the red is much more transparent than the malachite paint. So that kind of information, especially for professional watercolorists when they're doing all of their glazing and their mixing of colors, that kind of thing is really important to them. But as colorists, that kind of thing is important too. When I use these paints, how are they going to perform? What are they going to do as I start mixing them and laying them down? Are they going to cover up the line art? Are they going to be okay and not cover up the line art? That kind of thing is important to us as colorists. So that's why I added a quick black line. And then when I swatch over it, I know how opaque or how transparent they are. And it will be interesting to compare, like when I swatch my Winsor Newton paints or when I swatch my gouache paints. All those things, when I have a black line under it, I can compare and see and understand my paints, my tools better. It's kind of been really interesting for me to really dive deep into my tools and understand them better. It takes away the frustration of coloring when you do that.
Amber Mack just donated. She says, your art is amazing. Keep up the great work.
Well, thank you so much. Now, I don't recognize her name. Is this someone new? I think this might be someone new. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay.
And you've had several comments on your hair about how nice it looks and how cute it is.
Thank you. I feel kind of summery or something today. And yeah, I've got gold bling going on my nails. I kind of had fun. I did like red gold and then anyway, it's kind of blingy or something today. Thank you.
And then you've got a request for Ranger Distress inks, please. Do you have some Arteza real brush pens?
Yeah.
If so, can you use some of those?
Okay, 2 good suggestions.
Do you have Pitt artist pens?
I do. I only have blue though, and they're on the very tippy top of this shelf. I stuck the box up here.
Donna asked, do people get different watercolor pencils to broaden the range of colors? Why would I need more than one brand?
Okay, say that one more time. I heard the question, and then I was thinking about something else, and I lost it.
Do people get different watercolor pencils to broaden the range of colors? Why would I need more than one brand?
Okay, watercolor pencils. There are different types of watercolor pencils. For instance, okay, let me slide back here. I'm going to put my swatch book back here. And I'm going to grab, so far the only book I have printed on watercolor paper is the Mandala Bliss book we used last week. So we're going to use that again.
Neo Colors, by the way. Distress Crayons by Ranger.
Getting lots of good suggestions. Okay, the first one was the Distress Inks. And I'm going to be bumping you a lot tonight, I think. Okay, so back to the pencils real quick. I have several brands. Some of them all kind of lump together. But there are a few exceptions. For instance, Derwent makes the graphitint pencils, which are water soluble, but they aren't watercolor pencils. They are graphite pencils with a tint of color in them. We've played with them before here on our channel, and they are beautiful. I cannot wait to play with them on actual watercolor paper because they were problematic on, remember how problematic they were on standard mixed media paper. So I'm so excited to play with them. Derwent also makes their ink tints, which are also water soluble but not technically watercolor pencils because they dry down to a permanent color. Which is another discussion, but that's also another kind of water soluble pencil, and they are very bold, strong colors and really fun. And then there's a whole slew of brands. Winsor Newton makes them, Prismacolor makes them. Every store has their own store brand of watercolor pencils. And so yeah, in that class of watercolor pencils, you don't need every brand of watercolor pencils. The best thing I would suggest is to go into our Facebook group. If you haven't joined our Facebook group, highly recommend it because there's so many awesome colorists in that group and they have a wealth of knowledge. Ask them. I'm looking at this set of water-soluble color pencils and I'm wondering, has anybody bought them? Are they any good? Should I purchase them and get some feedback? For instance, I purchased the Prismacolor water-soluble pencils and I don't like them. They're kind of creamy type, have sort of a white undertone to all of the pencils. They're not these bright poppy colors that I was hoping for. So go there, ask for some feedback before you spend your money, and you'll be happier with what you purchase, I bet. So that would be my suggestion. If you want more water-soluble pencils, go for some of these unique ones and fill out your sets that way. That's what I would recommend.
A couple of people have mentioned the Albrecht Dürer.
Yeah, I've got a few of those. I've got this tray here. See, I've been pulling out all these things that I've been like holding on to and haven't been able to play with. Like I've got these Jane Davenport aqua pastels. I've got these Luminart little, these are water soluble, pretty shiny metallic-y things.
Fun.
I've got, these are the Albrecht Dürers. I don't have all of them. I only have 6. I've got, what were these ones? These are Kohinoor's Hardmouth Mondelez ones. I mean, I've got so many things I haven't played with in a long time.
Well, and I think that's a good, good point. That's a lot of times how we buy those. We'll just buy like 6 pencils, because usually at Blick, if you buy 6, you get the discounted price.
Right.
So we'll buy a trio, a light, medium, and dark.
Right, which is what we did right here with these ones.
And it's a good way to try them out to see if you like them before you buy the whole set.
Yep, and see if it's, are these any better than the ones I have? Do I like them? Are they fun? Do I want to buy more? It's like we bought these right here. Steve helped me buy these ones, the Caran d'Ache Neocolor Aquarelle. Neocolor 2s is what they are. And I am loving these. I actually looked at them today on Blick to see if the full set of 80 whatever were on sale. And they're always sort of on sale on Blick, but they weren't like a smash sale, gotta buy them now kind of sale. And so yeah, that's how we do it.
The round pods are the twinkling H2Os.
Oh yeah.
By the way, Jennifer Akridge says that Walmart has the Spectrum Noir marker trays. Ooh. 72 to a pack, 6 rows of 12 for $17.54.
That's a really good deal. That's a really good deal. I paid way more than that. But that was like over a year ago. Or something
like that. I can't remember. They were a lot.
They were a lot. And when I bought them, I even said to Steve, you know, this is going to be more money than some of the actual furniture I was buying. But we discussed it and decided it was well worth it because, you know, look at it. It's amazing to have all of my tools right in front of me. And I haven't regretted it, even at the high price. I haven't regretted it even 1 minute. So highly recommend those shelves. Okay, let's open up my book. There it is from last week. Oh, I still love it. Look at the shine. Okay, let's just go to the next page. Hello, new page printed on beautiful watercolor paper. Rose keeps looking at me like, Mom, you're going crazy. You're going watercolor crazy, Mom. I gotta keep drinking today because I'm going watercolor crazy. Okay, the first thing was the these guys down here. The distress ink pads, right? Wasn't that the first call out? My hair's getting in the way. And let's get a surface. We need a non-porous surface, which I'm going to use a jewel case. Let's use a white jewel case so we can see things. And I've got that ready. Let's get some tools out. Let's get some things out to play with. Some things I haven't played with because Rose is like, what are you getting, Mom? This is exciting, huh? Look at how we got to get more tools out. Let's get another thing out. This is when I wish I had that glass thing that we tried with Polly. One of these days, I'm just going to pull the trigger and buy that thing. Okay. All right. I've got this plastic thing here. This is just a jewel case. You guys know what those are. I've got some sponges for texture.
Patty says that I started using Albrecht Dürers on one of Steve's grayscale pages, and so far they're amazing.
Oh, cool. Okay. Let's get out, and I'm just going to start putting color on, and then we're going to switch tools. We're just going to play. It's a great thing, like I've said last week, about mandala is you can just experiment and play. And I'm going to use this jewel case so that I don't have to clean quite so much. And the purple is calling my name, so we're going straight in for purple today. So I'm going to load up. Oh, look at that color. Hello. Okay, and I need a water brush. Of all things that I haven't grabbed yet, a water brush. Okay, let's make sure this one works. Good. Are we ready? Yep. Okay. Let's do these parts right here. Look at that. Okay, so Steve, let's have an update on the watercolor paper. Last week we talked about that the sale of the books was sort of a pre-sale because the books were not the paper. We had it ordered and it was being shipped, but it wasn't quite here yet.
Yep, I should possibly as soon as tomorrow have some in and ready to go. So I'm hoping I can start printing
So exciting.
tomorrow and Friday.
And it's, as far as last week, I was a little bit worried that we would get such an onslaught of orders that we would run out of paper. How is that status going? Is there still...
It's going good. I ended up ordering enough to...
We're good?
Yeah.
So if people still want to order more, like I want to order... All I've got is this and a couple swatch books. I want more books, Steve. I want to put an order in, but I don't want to be top priority. I want the current orders to be top priority. This is like a grape color. What's the name of this color? Seedless Preserves. I was right. Look at that color. Oh my goodness. I love tools like this that multi-purpose. So you can stamp with these, or you can do like I'm doing right now, which is paint with them. I love tools like this. Look at that. Oh my goodness. Okay. So what was the next tool that was recommended? I probably should have written down or pulled them all out as people were saying, do this one and that one. Do you remember what the next tool was, Steve?
I think it was the Arteza water brush pens, or
Okay, would you grab those? Do you remember where they are?
I think so.
Okay. I'm hoping we can finish another coloring page
Oh,
tonight.
Mary Lynn just donated. Thank you, Mary Lynn.
Thank you. Oh, gotta get all the way to the bottom, Jennifer. It's the other thing I'm excited. I haven't even tried yet is I've got that, I think it's by Winsor Newton, that stuff to help your water not dry quite so fast. So you can do like those wet and wet techniques. I'm so excited to try that.
Gotcha Slimy says, you get so excited to get things and try art things. Thanks for all the information.
Oh, I kind of love it. I really do get very excited. This is not me overacting or being insincere. This is truly, Steve can attest that this is truly how I get about it. Look at that. Whoa.
Jennifer says, I never thought you could paint with distress ink pads.
Yep. What's great, see, about doing it is now if I wanted to take that same ink and do those rubbing techniques that we've done before here on the channel where you use the actual tool and rub the background with it. Now you've got that color, the same color. So if you want to do a good composition of a coloring page, you can use that same color that you apply to the background now is already in the page to, good composition, right? If we're going to do our art theory here, having that same color in more than one place always makes for nice composition. So we've used it in one place, and if I use it in the background now, it will just feel very nice.
I've had several people who've ordered the watercolor books, are so excited. Amy Young says that she has her custom book with all the gnomes set up on the computer screen, just waiting for payday to hit send on her orders.
Oh, fun. I want to draw more gnomes too.
Jerry Brown donated to us.
Thank you so much. You guys are so generous and kind. Okay, let's bring up the Artezas. We've got one color down.
Now, are they the same water brush pens? Are they the same as the...
I've got two. Should we show them both? They're both water-based.
Real brush pens, I think, is one that had been asked.
Okay,
Maybe that was the first one.
I've got two Arteza tools down here. Let me bring them up.
Oh, real brush pens. Okay, so those are the water color.
I've got 2 Arteza tools that I have, and these are some that you can look for a review coming up on. The Twi markers. These are water-based right here. Twi markers. So you can watch for a review on these to come very soon. So I think they're kind of trying to make something like a Tombow. That's what these are right here. So watch for that review to come soon. It's a brush tip, but it's not like these have actual bristle brush tip. This is a fiber brush tip, like a Tombow type brush tip. So that's what this package is right here. But they're also a water-based ink. So
Jerry wrote on when she donated, she says, "Don't buy poop bags with this."
That's what you got to tell them the inside joke on that one, Steve.
Every week with our workshops and our Bliss partners, we give away an Amazon gift card. And we always tell them something funny to not buy with it. We want them to buy something creative. And so yesterday, Jennifer told me to come up with something. So I came up with dog poop bags. Don't buy dog poop bags.
Don't buy dog poop bags. Okay, I reached for green. I'm trying to... Last week we did, I almost reached for orange, and then I remembered last week that was the colors we did, remember?
Oh, yeah.
So I'm like, no, got to pick a different color palette. So I reached for green. Let's do a different color palette. I'm going to...
Serena says, "I can't wait to get back into watercoloring. This has really inspired me to get back into it."
We are all going to go watercolor crazy. You just wait. This is going to everybody's going to go watercolor crazy. Okay, so I've got a watercolor brush pen here ready to go. Let's do, how about this shape right here? This is a very interesting shape. We'll make this one sort of pop out. This is a really dark tone of green here. And again, we are on the watercolor paper. So this is going to act very different than if we were on standard paper. So if on standard paper, remember, the minute you hit it with something wet and watery, those fibers of that paper start to absorb it like a sponge. That's what paper does. But on watercolor paper, are you ready, Steve? What is the magic thing about watercolor paper?
Sizing.
Sizing. It is the magic ingredient. Sizing is a treatment that they do to real, true watercolor paper. And that's the thing. That's the magic that makes the paint float on the top. Floating, like I said, is never quite the right word, but I think it's the best way to help you understand what's going on here. Our neighbor kids are outside playing, so that's what you're hearing if you heard that sound. So if I were to do the same technique on like our standard papers, instead of having this time to kind of play with it and manipulate it and get the paint to do what I want, that's not what would happen, right? You guys know. What happens is the fibers grab onto that color and just hold on, and they won't let go. And you can't get it to blend or move. And it can be so frustrating. And I think that's why a lot of us are just like, why are my tools streaking? Why won't they blend? Why won't they do what I want it to do? It's because we're not pairing the right paper with the right tools. And now we can pair them correctly.
Is it bleeding through?
Let's look.
Helene asked, would Copics work best with watercolor paper?
Copics. So there's a couple things going on with Copics. Let's check underneath here. Nope, no bleeding.
You want to show them?
Oh, yeah. I'm like, I want to get back to coloring. I'm having so much fun. Okay, Copic markers. A couple things you need to think about with Copics. Here's the back right here, here, and here are those 3 green spots. So it's ghosting a little bit, but not coming through. Copic markers, alcohol. It's alcohol based, not water based. For me, my favorite paper for alcohol markers is a really dense, really smooth paper. I like the smooth because it protects the nibs of those really expensive markers, and then the denseness of the paper means that I can layer and layer and layer all I want, and those fibers of the paper just keep drinking in the layers, and I can keep building up beautiful layers and blends. So it's a totally different coloring experience. Now we can do Copics on here and they just act a little bit different. I think we need to try it and I can show you what Copics do on this paper. So maybe we'll need to do that like right away and you can see the difference because they do work on watercolor paper. But this watercolor paper is very unique. It has a much more smooth texture, and there's some watercolor papers I would never put my Copics on. I would never put my Tombos on because the texture is so gritty. It would totally tear up the nibs of your markers. So please be aware of that. We spend a lot of money on some of these markers, and if you touched them onto those papers, it would totally chew up those nibs, and what a shame that would be. So be careful of that. Okay, in case you're wondering if you've got these and you want to try the same color I'm doing, this is seaweed green that I'm using. It's a very different green. Lots of blue and gray undertones in this green. It looks really pretty with that purple I used earlier. Very pretty. And I'm kind of starting the color and then using the water to get it moving. And then when the water is down, I can come back with the brush pen and add more color to get that blend the way I want it. And again, because we're on the watercolor paper, I don't have to be afraid. You guys know you start manipulating the paper too much and you start getting pilling and it just, it's a horrible experience. Horrible! I'm making it sound so dramatic.
Birdie's Mixed Media asked if you brush the spot first with just water and then color, would it blend easier?
These bristles on these brushes, they like to go where things are dry. So what I'm experiencing is as soon as this paper is a little bit wet, like right now, see I'm adding water to the page. And then when I come back with the bristles, see how there almost no color is coming out right here where it's wet? Can you see that? Maybe go to a different angle, Steve. I come down right here. If I come up here, see how much color comes out? This is going to be a weird one.
I'd like to see gelatos too, by the way.
Oh yeah, gelatos. Gelatos. That's another art medium that I've been like avoiding. Okay, what I'm trying to say is I think it's, you know the property, it's called wicking, where a wet thing travels to the dry area. That's, I think, don't quote me, this is not a science channel. I think that's what wicking is, when something wet travels to the dry thing. My guess is this bristle, Science 101 by Jennifer. The wet ink is in here and it's wicking from the bristles to the dry paper. Okay, this is frustrating because sometimes as you're stroking on with these bristles, the wicking action isn't happening fast enough for me. So now when we introduce the water, I'll do water first. Now this is wet and that wicking action doesn't want to happen. See, almost no color is coming down. Over here, now see how much more color is happening here? And I don't think it's just diluting. I think it's that wicking action isn't happening correctly. Okay, art science Jennifer 101. Take it or leave it. I don't know if it's true, but that's the feeling I'm getting. I'd love it if someone else would grab their supplies and see if they get the same feeling out of their supply.
So,
oh dear.
Slimy said, okay, I need watercolor brush pens now.
And watercolor paper.
I was going to say, and that's kind of why I mentioned that one, because, again, that's what we talked about last week, how when the companies who sell these products are selling them, what you're not seeing is that they're demonstrating them on watercolor paper, not on regular cardstock. So if you go and you start coloring on regular cardstock or regular paper, they won't act like this at all. It'll be a really frustrating experience. And
I would love to know how many of you bought these pens and saw one thing and then tried them at home and were so frustrated that you put them away. I would love to know, because that was sort of my experience. I kind of knew what was happening. I knew why it wasn't working. So I kept working with it, kept pushing, and I knew you guys were having that problem, and I wanted to help you solve it. So I didn't actually put mine away, but I knew that's what was happening to all of you. So I kept pushing, like, I'm going to figure this out for them. I'm going to help them, because I know they all just went and bought these. And I was getting feedback. Why is this not working? Will someone please help me? Someone please do a demonstration. Teach me how to use these. I knew this was going on. But I'll bet you a lot of you are in the same situation. You bought these beautiful pens. They have beautiful colors. They were demonstrated beautifully, but then you got them home and you started using them and you got frustrated. I'll bet a lot of you are in that situation. And it's frustrating.
Melinda says that was my experience too.
Because you spent all this money and we don't have a lot of money, and it should work beautifully, right? If I grabbed a piece of standard beautiful cardstock now, this is just standard cardstock like what you would buy at Walmart. And if I tried to do a similar technique here, make sure I'm in the screen here, and try to pull it out. Look, see how it almost doesn't move? Because it's those fibers. Think about those fibers like a sponge. Grabbing on, and you got to push and move and push and keep it moving, keep it moving, keep it moving. Move faster, move faster. But the more you manipulate that paper, what's happening? You guys all know what's happening to that paper. Those fibers are all swelling up. They're getting really swollen, right? And if the more you work it, I'm actually getting a decent blend here. I'm not
Which
pretty
is the point,
good.
Too. It's,
you can still do it, but I worked that really hard. Now, if you stop and look and touch it, all those fibers are now swollen, and they'll go all, if this wasn't cardstock, like if you were in a standard coloring book, you guys know most coloring books are not a cardstock. They're not great. All those fibers swell up and the paper gives up. It just turns to balls of mush, and you can't, it just won't do it. But that's not the case on watercolor paper, and it's because of the sizing. It gives you that time to get a blend, and you get beautiful things will happen, and you won't be frustrated. You can just relax, and the blend just happens, and the bliss comes back to the coloring with these tools that you've invested in. So that's why I'm so happy to give this to you. Okay, what was the next? Oh, we wanted to see Copics. What Copics will do on it. I've got some chows here that I think will look pretty together. Let's go that one, maybe those two. Okay, this is everybody, in case you're unfamiliar with Copics, chows and sketch markers. That's these two right here. Same inks inside Copic chows and Copic sketches. Same nibs inside these two. It's just a different body and different amount of inks in these two different bodies. And the Copic chows are less expensive, and there's fewer colors available in the chow line versus the sketch line. So if I use a chow and you own the sketch, it's the same thing. Does that make sense? Okay. So let's try some Copics on here, and we'll see if it bleeds through. I'm going to put something behind it just in case it bleeds through. There, that one bled through. Is it dry enough that I can use it as a blotting page? Okay, just in case, because I don't think I've ever done a really good... yeah, I have. I take it back when we were testing the paper. Okay. That's what the brush tips look like on a Copic, in case you've never seen. And let's do a nice pretty little blend right here. Oh, we can go darker than that. Let's bring in one shade darker here with my Copic chows. Let's go for a 3-color blend. Ah, lovely. And blend, blend. So you see how lovely even the Copics are going to work. Again, why does the Copics work on this paper? One, because of the sizing is helping. Two, because the paper is smooth. It's not hurting the nips. Would never use this on Arches paper. I have some Canson watercolor paper I wouldn't use this on either. Okay. Pretty exciting that you can use so many different art mediums on this paper. I'm excited. I'm a little bit excited, Steve. Okay. In case you're wondering what 3 colors I'm using here, we've got E00, E11, and E15. Oh, I'm so curious to flip this over and see if it bleeds. Wouldn't it be cool if it didn't bleed? Whew, the suspense. Are we ready? Let's see if it bled. Oh, that looks so pretty. Those 3 colors. So pretty together. Okay, so far we've used 3 different products. I'll put these away. Kind of keep things organized. Kinda. Here we go. Let's see if it bled. Oh, massive bleeding. So, but you know, it's watercolor paper. I didn't expect it to not bleed through. But we got a beautiful blend. Look at that. Look how pretty. Very nice. Okay, next product. What's the next one, Steve? You tell me. I can't keep track. Are you keeping track?
Did you do the other Artesas? Those little ones?
No, we're going to do those another day. They have to wait for that.
Okay. I'm not sure. I can't remember. Guys. Oh, gelatos were definitely
okay.
Top.
I've got to go
request.
get those, so you entertain them. There. Dance for them.
All right, let's see. They're asking about watercolor, paper, printing. I was mentioning that inkjet doesn't like watercolor paper because of the sizing.
Yep.
The ink just wants to float on top, which is what sizing is supposed to do. Somebody asked, could you put a workable fixative on top of it and then get it to work? And
In the
yeah,
printer?
possibly.
In the printer?
Well, no. Spray, like print it. See, I don't know.
Oh.
Like I'm not sure. I don't know. You have to like spray it before. Would that mess up the sizing? Yeah, I don't know.
Well, it's worth an experiment, that's for sure. Okay, this is my small stash of gelatos. I have this set here, which has never been opened. I don't know what set it was. I think I just picked it up somewhere. And then I have this set, which is the pastels. So let's open this one here. You know, this set hasn't been opened either. How sad is that? It's a crying shame. I can't wait to swatch these. Okay. Crack into these lovelies and see what's in this box. Oh, we get wedges. One that's really, wow, there is much to be learned that we don't have time for right now. But we get two wedges. One is really soft and one is hard. We get a brush, a Faber-Castell fancy, pretty brush. Let's get in here.
Oh yeah, and then the crayons, gelatos, Marabou crayons, the Neocolor 2s.
Look at that fancy brush. It's all fancy. Kind of a stiff to help work it. Okay, let's pick a color. Any color, Steve, you pick. If you want to look at what we've done so far. You choose. Steve's choice.
Oh no. Well, you know what I'm going to be drawn to, but
The blue?
you know what though? I wonder if that color maybe the yellow.
The
Sure,
yellow.
do that one. That's something I wouldn't normally do.
Okay, Steve is the boss, you guys. He's the boss man. Okay. Let's gelato. Bringing back my non-porous surface, which needs a little cleaning. There we go. Okay, this color is buttercream. This is how gelatos come, in a nice little container that screws up so that you can dispense the product. You can cut off a wedge. You can color directly with it. I'm going to put some on here like this. And we're going to bring up our water. We could use a water brush, but I want to use their fancy little brush here. Yeah, given a brush, let's use it. Okay, let's play. Now, what I'm curious about is I'm adding water. So just how watered down is this going to become? I don't know. Let's find out. Let's wash this whole area right here with this yellow. And then maybe we can come back in with an undiluted amount if we want to. Ooh. So gelatos you can use with stencils. They're light, fast. Let's see what else they tell you can use it with. Smooth or textured surfaces, canvases, fabric, ribbon, journal boards, wood, paper. These creamy, acid-free pigment sticks glide vibrant color onto projects and blend beautifully with or without water. Ooh, intriguing. Okay, so what I want to do...
If that's lipstick.
It does look like lipstick. I know they come in a ton of colors. I don't know how many. They also have like pearlescent, which I think is what I have in that other package. And they have metallics. I think they have glitters too.
Amy Sue asked, have you ever tried a product called Amos crayons?
No.
They're on Amazon. They're like a crayon Neocolor gelato mix. So beautiful when you hit them with water. I love mine.
Oh dear. Okay, I'm just putting some straight down because that was so pale. And now let's mix it out. So I don't know things like, do you have to seal gelatos? Anybody know? I'm assuming they don't dry down permanent because I'm able to reactivate. Look at that, I got a bit of a gradient. Ooh la la. Okay, now I don't know if we want to spend the time to do every single one this way though, because we have so many products to try. I'll just put a whole bunch of this down. Activate it with water. I wonder what gelatos are, like what the fillers are. I have so many art science questions. Do you guys have all these art science questions, or is it just a weird thing that my brain always goes to?
Angela asked, can they be used straight from the tube?
According to the package, you can just color right on and like that. And it's definitely more, it makes sense, it's more pigmented color that way. Okay.
SS85898 asked, or no, wait a minute. Maybe there was a question about if you have to seal gelatos.
Yeah, I asked, do you have to seal the gelatos?
Sounds like we got a couple different answers.
Ooh.
Saying yes, seal. Polly's saying no need to seal.
Probably depends on what you're doing, I would think, right, you guys? This brush is odd. I don't know if I'm a fan of this brush. Okay, a little bit more down here. Let's try one of the other ones now on the other side. Pretty color. I think we need to have a battle, like we said the other day, a battle of the water-soluble crayon type products. Have gelatos against marabous against Neocolors. Have a big battle. Let's grab, I have a yellow marabou, so let's bring a yellow marabou up. These are the marabous right here. They also come in a nice plastic container like this. So let's do the same technique now. This is not a pastel color. This is a much more poppy yellow. But we can kind of see how it will work side by side as far as, do they apply the same way? Can we use them the same way? Do you need both kinds? I don't know.
Sounds like Melinda was reading on Faber-Castell's website about it, and she says they say a light application can be sealed with a spray fixative, while a heavy application needs a gel medium or glaze.
Oh.
Slimy asked, what's the best brush pen you have tried?
Are we talking about I never know if they're asking about like this kind where it's just filled with plain water, or are they talking about these that are full of paint? Okay, we're doing the same technique that I just did with the gelato, where I wash the whole area with a diluted version and then come in with full strength and kind of spread it out to get that gradient. Both are working great.
Sherry asked, our chows aren't technically refillable like our sketch, right?
Both are refillable, chows and sketch. So chows are a super great way to start collecting Copic markers in the beginning if you're on a budget. You can start with a full set of chows if you want to, and then start replacing them with the sketch, because like I said, chows only have a certain number of colors. So yeah, you can use the same refills, the same brush nibs, the whole thing for Chow to Sketch. It's all the same. It's just a different body.
Oh, Polly just donated.
Thank you so much, Polly. You guys are so sweet.
Lark asked, would they move better with a little glycerin?
They might. A little bit more here. Be interesting to know if there's glycerin in the formula, wouldn't it? Okay, last section here. And then what product do we need to move to next? We've done marabous and gelatos. Do you still want to see the Neo colors? Is that the next one? Neo colors are going to act very similar to the gelatos and the marabous. And my ring just tried to fall off. Come on, little turtle. Stay put. Too much water. Very fun. These crayons are really fun to play with. Okay. Definitely a different color. This is a much more sunny yellow and a much more pastel, but that's fine. Very fun. They both worked really great. I had a great experience with both. Very fun.
Yeah, Slimy was asking, what's the best watercolor brush pen you've tried?
So, this...
No,
these.
I think that's...
I really like how Arteza has a huge line of colors. So if you're looking for some pens that have tons and tons of colors, Arteza is where it's at. If you're looking for a set that has a really good case and you can refill the pens, Colorit is a really good line. They don't have as many colors, but you can refill them as they dry out, and they come in a really nice canvas case. Now, if budget isn't a concern, then the Jane Davenport mermaid markers are by far the most pigmented and the most versatile because they're more like a water brush pen. You can squeeze out some of the extra paint and paint with them. They have longer bristles. They are a little problematic. They tend to leak a little bit sometimes, but they have glitters. They don't have a ton of color range, but they're a really versatile tool, but they are very pricey. So that's kind of a quick rundown. Okay.
We're getting Tombos and Neo colors.
Tombos. Okay, let's do Neo colors and then Tombos, because Neo color is kind of in the same family as these two little guys. So let's bring up the Neo colors. Are in. Oh, we also have, these are the same things too, the Jane Davenport Aqua Pastels. Let's do some more purple because we only have one spot of purple. We need to bring some purple back. Keep our color scheme sort of going.
Supply and Spaces says Jane Davenport's are my favorite now.
Yeah, they're really, really neat. But they do tend to leak. I think that's my biggest complaint with them.
Kaylee said, how about paint pens?
Paint pens. Oh, like
Poscas or something?
like Poscas. I've got Poscas. I've got just plain, like, these are paint pens by Craftsmart.
Tweety asked, which water-filled brush do you like? Like, you know,
Like these ones.
Yeah.
I don't have a favorite. Like I've said before, I think you need to spend mid-range money on these. The really, really cheap ones are not worth your money. They leak and they die really fast. The high-end ones, I think, are just as good as the mid-range ones. So, you know, go on Amazon or go to the craft store and get a good mid-range one, and I think you'll be really happy with them. Okay, let's do two colors and see if we can get away with a two-color blend here. I'm going to go straight on this time and do this area here with, and make it look like the purple sort of spilling out of those little drop shapes. is a more blue violet color. Okay.
Amy says, I have all of the Tombos less 3. It's driving me crazy.
That would just trigger my full set syndrome so bad. I don't know how you were sitting on that. I'd be ordering them right this minute.
We're having Polly come over to give us.
Oh yeah, or having
Give you one.
someone rescue you. Sending the husband out to the store. Okay, I'm adding just a touch of this really dark purpley blue color in the center, and then we're going to activate it all with water. This is a good, shows the texture of the paper. Okay, let's scooch it down and activate. We'll keep using this Faber-Castell brush. Here we go. Let's see how this activates. Last time I activated this, it went crazy with color. So far, my impression, and I'd love to get your impression for those of you who have multiple sets of these crayons. So far, my impression is the neo, what are they called? Neo colors are the most pigmented. Has that been your impression between the different colors of crayons? Let's activate this one right here. Trying to get it to where you guys can see good. This brush is weird. I think I'm not used to the angle.
Joy says that she saw on Amazon today a set of silicone makeup brushes I thought about for the gel pens. They're only $4.
Ooh, that's a good price. Trying to get a gradient, but the pigment's just going berserko.
Barbara asked, do you have the Posca glitter pens?
I don't. I only have 1, 2, 4 Posca pens. And they scare me. I need to get over it. They're so expensive. It's one of those tools I bought because I really want them. And I really want to play with them. And I want to be brave. But because they're so expensive, I keep reaching for other tools. And I just need to get over it. They're still, the purple ones are still in the plastic. What a shame.
Yeah, there's a few people who've said yes, Neo colors are most pigmented. Yeah,
look at this. Now, I'm curious to see as they dry.
Kaylee says, you pick the best colors to blend together. I love every picture you make.
Oh,
coming along beautifully.
Thank you.
And Anthony says, she draws so beautiful.
Thank you so much. Okay, we got it. I think Tombos were next, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, those definitely had most bang for your pigment buck there. Okay. Well, that was my first impression. And we were using yellows compared to dark purple. I don't know if that's exactly fair. And that's why we need to have a battle of the water-soluble crayons, right, you guys? And make it as fair as possible. I don't quite know how to do that, but we need to figure that out. Think it through. I need to put some brain power on that and figure that out. Actually, I'm going to keep that brush with this set, so when we do have the battle, everything's together. I'm just going to move all this together. Sorry, Steve. I keep bumping Steve tonight. Okay, here we go. Next product is the Tombos. I'm going to clean up my non-porous surface here so we can keep on keeping on. Okay. Tombos. Just going to have a moment to appreciate the fact that I have a full set of Tombos. All right, moving on. Okay. I want to kind of repeat the colors that we did here for the Copics. So I'm going to grab my quick reference chart that I made. If you missed my streaming of how I swatched all my Tombos, I swatched in multiple places, and one of them was this quick reference chart. So let's find some colors real quick. Let's go 910 and 912, Opal and Pale Cherry. I think that's these two right here. Yep. And let's grab a darker one. Maybe 977 Saddle Brown. I don't like that color, but that's the best we're going to do right this moment, and I don't want to spend a lot of time picking colors. Are you 977? Yep. Okay, those are the three that I'm going to grab to kind of do what I did with those Copics. So we've got 977 for my dark, 912 for the mid-tone, and 910 for the light tone. And if you've never seen a Tombow before, they have a brush tip here that's nice and flexible, and then on the other end you get a teeny tiny cute little bullet nib that is really handy for little tiny details. So let's get going here, and let's see what this marker will do. How are we doing on bleed through? So far it's just the Copics that have tried to bleed through. Okay, caps off. 1, 2, and 3. Everybody's ready to roll. Whew, so exciting. Okay. What's our next tool that everybody wants me to do? Oh, that dark color is not right. We need a different dark. Let's go Burnt Sienna. 947. Really? All right. Trust your swatch, not the cap. Right, Rose? Much better. That's why we swatch. This opal color is one of the new colors. Look at it blend. No sweat.
Inktense was a request.
Okay.
Watercolor in glitter form was another.
Ooh.
Kaylee's curious why you use a CD case as a non-porous surface.
I like how handy it is. I can take it to the sink and wash it. It's, you know, kind of like if you're recycling. I'm recycling it. So I like that about it. I like you can throw in a piece of white underneath it so you can see what it will look like. You know, the colors you're laying on it, you can see it through it if you want to, or you can just use it clear. A CD case can fit inside a pencil case, and you can take it with you on the go for coloring on the go. So it's just kind of a good all around. I try to find things and suggest things that you probably already have sitting in your house. So as often as possible, you guys won't have to go buy something new. So that's one reason I grabbed a jewel case as a blending tool. You know, like Tombow sells a blending tool, and it's basically a laminated card with a little mini spritzer.
Melinda S. just donated.
Oh,
she says,
thank
thank you for all the time and energy you put into teaching us new techniques.
Oh, thank you so much. That means so much. Your donations help our channel so much. If you're enjoying this, make sure you hit a little thumbs up too for me. That helps too. What do we like better, the Copic or the Tombow? I love, like usually, if you guys are like me, you go for the Copic when you really want a good, like alcohol markers typically are what we go for really good blends, right? because water-based markers give us streaky blends, but not on watercolor paper. And not on this watercolor paper, again, because it's not super textured, right? Would never do this on my expensive watercolor paper.
Docap1 says, I can't wait to get this simple mandala book on watercolor paper and use my tombos.
Yay! I cannot wait to see what you guys do with all of the paper and all these new designs. I can't wait. I think I missed one.
Oh, Jane says you missed one.
Oh, there's sometimes I'll miss them and you guys will catch it, and later I'll be watching the video and it'll bug me. You missed it, Jennifer. Go back and so I'm glad that we caught it together. Okay. All right. Ta-da!
Marilyn says, that was my experience also. I bought the complete set of tombos, but have rarely used them.
Mm-hmm. Because it's so streaky and frustrating. But not anymore. All right, let's get these back where they belong. These two go here. And you belong here.
January Rivers says, beautiful person, beautiful paintings. I love learning from you. You are blessed.
Oh, thank you so much. That's so sweet. Staying hydrated. All right. I heard ink tints.
Oh, yeah.
Let's get these out of the way. So many fun water-friendly tools. Such a shame that we can't use them more often, and now we can. I'm just so happy. A little obsessed.
Oh, thank you, Dawn. Dawn just donated to our channel as well.
Thank you so much. You guys are so kind. Oh, getting in Steve's way again. All right. Thank you, Steve. Here's my full set of ink tints right here. Let's see here. Let's go for
And then
the
Kaylee
center.
also asked about super tip markers.
Oh yes, the Crayolas. We definitely need to play with those. Okay, we haven't done another place with the greens. Let's bring in the bluish green colors again. I need to re-swatch these now that we have the watercolor paper. I need to do that sooner than later. I'm getting distracted by all the swatching goodness that's going to happen. Okay, let's go for something over here. Maybe this color.
Dawn says, I want these so bad.
The ink tints.
I think so.
I had help getting my full collection. They are pricey. Oh la la, they are pricey. And I started out, like I always recommend you guys do, I started out with buying a light, medium, and dark at Blick. Just 3. We didn't even buy 6. I bought 3 because they were so pricey, and played with them and fell in love with them immediately. And then I think I bought like a 24 set. I can't remember. I went back and rewatched the video, and I was playing with this bigger set, and I was like, oh, I love them, but I need more colors. And then Steve said, well, why didn't you buy a bigger set? Do you remember that?
It was that one.
During the live video, he's like, well, why didn't you buy a bigger set? And I was like, what? I was trying to be frugal and only buy a smaller set, and now you tell me I could have had a bigger set. Oh, it was hilarious. That was a good video. I laughed pretty hard during that video. Anyway, and then I think we had a viewer send me, they had bought them and didn't like them. And she sent me her extras or something, or her set, because she wasn't enjoying them. And I was like, yes, please, I will take them. It was amazing. It was a art miracle. Okay, I'm trying to find something in that range, but maybe we'll just do one color. Let's see if one color. Here, I just recommended that you don't need a ton of them. Let's see what I can do with one. Just one. And I'm going to use a water brush pen.
Polly says she started swatching her ink tents today.
Oh, yeah, I want to re-swatch all of them and onto the paper and see what they do. Okay, let's just use one and see what it does. So if you feel like, I want these, but I can't afford them all, I just want to get a small set, let me show you what one can do. We're going to do it in two places. I'm going to do the center star motif. I'm going to try to get it so that the outer edge is dark and goes to a lighter inner center. That's the plan. Let's see what I can do here. So I'm going to kind of lay down a lot. Now remember, here comes the Inktense art lecture. These are technically not watercolor, they're ink. And their claim is that once they're dry, they dry permanent. But remember that you have to activate every granule for it to be fully activated and then to dry fully permanent. So if you do what I'm doing right now, color it down and then activate it with water, and you are trying to get every granule activated with that water and you miss some, and then you wash over later with another color and you've missed some, it will activate, and then you're going to be like, oh no, some of my green came up when I was washing with yellow and now I'm frustrated. So just be aware of that. A way around that is to take a water brush or a wet brush and just touch onto the tip and pick up the pigment that way. Now you know all that is activated and you can just paint like that with it. So that's a way around it. The activating conundrum. And I've got some duplicates of the Inktense that I keep in a roll that I take when I go out in one of my traveling bags. And that's mainly how I paint and color with it, is with a water brush like this. I keep them all in the roll and just touch onto the tips and color that way. And it works really good. It's really a fun way to use the Inktense pencils. So that's the lecture on Inktense. I didn't know that for the longest time, and it was very frustrating because I thought that, oh, they're permanent and la la la, and then I would try to wash another color on, and the first color would activate, and it's so frustrating. And so that's why I say it every time, so you won't be frustrated like I was.
Salami asked, what's the best watercolor pencil?
So we talked about that at the beginning of this, so I'm not going to go into it too deeply. There's a lot of really great brands, and I don't have a favorite. This is way bluer than that one, but that's all right. I don't have a favorite. I love the Derwent Inktense, but they are technically not a watercolor pencil. Look at that. It's like doing something weird. Woo, 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 woo. Whoa, Nelly. My suggestion is, if you have a brand you're interested in, to come to our Facebook group and ask them about it, because I don't have every brand and I would never try to say this one is the best. It's not like color pencils where I have so many of them and I have very strong opinions on them. So
Amy Sue says, I'm the one who lacked 3 Tombow colors. I ordered them from Tombow. Full set syndrome soon.
Hopefully you won't have the problem I did and sit down and swatch them and find out you really are missing one more. Okay, I'm going to take the same blue color now, bluish green color, and repeat it out here because it's so different from that color. I want it to feel like it was intentional. There are no mistakes, right? Just opportunities for more color. Okay. All right. There are a lot of really great water-soluble pencils out there. There's some very unique ones. So it's kind of a fun area to experiment and check out. But if you're on a budget and you don't want to waste your money, you want to get the best one possible, then I highly recommend asking the group and say, I'm looking at this one. What do you think? That's my recommendation. Like I said, it's not like color pencils where I have really strong opinions. Oh, I got some out here. That's all right. Okay, I keep moving the page on you. I'm sorry, Steve. He's trying to keep it in frame for you, and I keep rotating. That's a problem with mandalas. You rotate a lot. Okay. Then I also wanted to come up here and put a band of it up here in this nice little border. Okay, what's the next tool, Steve?
Really quick though, Sandy asked, what do you mean by activating the colors and why?
Okay, so let's say, okay, this is a really good example. Here I'm putting a band of this, and I know I'm going to want to do some background color. That means I'm going to be applying a color on top of this band of blue-green I'm laying down. By the way, this is color Mallard Green 1230, in case you're curious. So I know I'm going to be doing some color on top of this Mallard Green, and I don't want it to budge. And one of the great properties of Derwent ink tints is it's supposed to be permanent once it dries. So technically, once it's dried, it should be permanent. It shouldn't budge. I should be able to do a watercolor wash right on top of it, and this shouldn't reactivate and move. It should stay. It should stay put. But as you can see here, I keep hitting it with water down here where I colored, and it keeps activating more pigment, more of the granules that I laid down. I'm using the word granules. It's not really the best word, but you get the idea. So if I didn't activate every little smidgen of that pencil that I colored down, when I come to do the background and wash a color over it, it will activate those granules and cause a smear of the green to go into the background. And if I was counting on that stripe to stay put, then I would be mad. That would be really frustrating, wouldn't it? So that's why I always give the lecture on ink tints. Because when you buy those pencils and across the back of that package it says permanent when dry, and if you're counting on that, and like I was when I first got them, and then it didn't do that, and I would try to glaze over something and it didn't stay put, I was frustrated until I realized what was going on. So that's why I give that little spiel every time I use ink tints pencils. Hopefully it will avoid some heartache for you guys.
So I think next we should try the Crayolas, the super tips.
Okay.
Is that what they are?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I'm trying to do a gradient here in this bar where it starts dark and goes to light and then goes back to dark. That was my intent. So I'm loading the pigment up on the one end and then pulling it into the center. Trying to activate it all. Activate, 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 activate. Again, thankfully we're on watercolor paper so I can really work it. And then pull it into the middle of the bar. And that's where this awesome Inktense pencil, because it's so full of color, lots of pigment, I can pull it all the way into that bar. Okay, not too shabby. Ah, it's looking pretty. I like it. I feel like these are a little too light. Oh, don't fiddle. Move on. Okay, let's move on. Crayola Super Tips. What do we love about Crayola Super Tips? They're inexpensive. Fun colors. The tips. I like the tips of Crayola Super Tips. Gotta stand up and grab them. Ugh. It's raining Crayola Super Tips. Sorry, Rose. Okay, there's a stash right here. They are a water-based marker. So they're, similar stuff that's in this expensive Tombow is inside the Crayola Super Tip. I think the colors in the Tombows are more vivid. They may be more, I don't know. I sure hope what's in here is nicer than what's in the Super Tips, but I don't know. But you can do a lot of the same techniques that you do with fancy Tombows and all those others. You can do the same stuff with the Crayola markers, so that's cool. Okay. Let's see. We've got this nice little area here. While we're waiting for this bar to dry, let's do in here, maybe with some yellows. The way I like to store my Crayola Super Tips, usually, is with these little hair bands. And I keep them in trios. Now, my Super Tips, I don't know if they've changed over the years. They don't have any color names on them. So the way I got around it was I just find trios that work good together, a light, medium, and dark, and I bundle them together with a little rubber band, and then I know I can grab these three and they'll work good together. But as you can see, I'm not really good at putting the trios back together again, so yeah. What I can do, or what I suggest now, is you get a paint marker like these, which is basically acrylic paint in here, and you can number them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or however you want to number your markers, and then you can swatch them all, and you know that this pen right here, this marker is number 35, and it's that color, and then you'll always know that you can reach for that marker to get that color. So that's a great way to do it. Okay, here we go. Let's do some yellow. We'll use these three. Okay, hopefully. Uh-oh. That's one problem, is the caps don't stack that great. And sometimes the caps are so... we'll see how this goes. All right, Super Tip away. Are you guys ready to see how great these blend on here? So great. Okay, I'm going to start with the darkest right here. Build up some and then blend down to the lighter like that.
Lark says, I made a watercolor palette by cutting my Inktense blocks so they fit into watercolor pans.
Ooh, that's cool. I have some Inktense blocks now, thanks to a follower that sent me some. And that is yet another tool that I haven't had time to experiment with. And because we didn't have a good watercolor paper, I was holding off experimenting with them.
Kaylee asked, do you have to use water on a watercolor pencil, any brand, or can you leave it once you lay it down?
You don't have to activate it if that's the question. You can color with watercolor pencils just like a regular pencil. So that's kind of cool, I think. It makes it like a multiple tool again. Like I said, I love a tool that does multiple jobs. Look how easy.
Tika says, I got a set of 20 Crayola Super Tips, so I'm going to be especially interested to see what you do with them.
So they work so easy. They just smoothly blend, no streaks or anything. And again, it's because of that sizing. It floats on the top. Again, if you think of regular paper like a sponge, the minute it hits that cardstock, or that paper, the fibers just grab it and soak it in and won't let it go, right? Here on watercolor paper, it has a moment on the top to glide and slide, and you get a nice gradient, nice blend.
And then, of course, the if you don't have watercolor paper, prepping your page with watercolor ground, although it does have a little bit of a tooth to it, a little texture, so depends on how precious you are with your marker nibs.
Yeah, and that's one great thing about inexpensive markers like the super tips, is if you are going to prep your paper with gesso or the Daniel Smith watercolor ground, and then you decide to use your super tips on it, it won't, it's going to tear up your markers a little bit. And if you've got inexpensive markers like Crayolas, you won't feel like, oh, there goes a $3 marker. I always feel like, I want my the tips of the marker to last until the ink runs out. If I can get my marker to last that long, then I've done good.
Joyce asked if we don't have the acrylic marker, will a Sharpie work? I wonder if she's asking alcohol marker?
An alcoholic marker.
An alcoholic marker.
Okay, so we're talking about labeling these. I've tried labeling them with Sharpies before.
Oh, okay.
And let me show you, I don't know what happens. I'm going to let it dry for a second and then I'll show you.
Mia Bear says the fine tip Crayola markers have names on them.
Ah!
And what Tika does is take a little sticker, cut into a small square and color it in, then stick it on the marker and put some clear tape around it to fasten it better. That way I can see the colors.
I've seen that before. I mean, not by... I bet... Anyway, I've seen some people do similar things. And that is such a great idea because then you get the swatch right on there. Because the caps on these aren't always true, especially on less expensive ones. And my experience with doing the Sharpie, let's see if it stays. That one's doing pretty good. But it's starting to rub off. I have very hot hands. Yeah, there it goes. My hands are very hot. And I have... And the more you use it, the more you manipulate the tool, the numbers just rub off on me. They always have. But the acrylic paint pens, they will almost never budge. I've had, if you sit there and really rub it, it will take a long time, a lot longer than that for the paint marker to rub off. So that's why I stopped labeling my pens with Sharpies and moved to the acrylic paint pens. And if you buy the larger sets, like with 8 or 12 colors, you'll get like a white and a black in the set. And then if your tools are these are black, so if some of your markers you have are black, you can use the white paint pen to label the numbers on them. So that works really great. So yeah, I think it's just a better deal. I don't know. Maybe it's the sweat and the oil that makes it come off, or the heat in my hands. I don't know, but I've always had that problem.
People are sharing some great ideas on how they handle the labeling.
The labeling? That's awesome.
Tika says, I find that it's best to swatch the super tips onto something plastic, then pick up the ink with a slightly damp brush to get a watercolor effect.
Oh, that's awesome. Like onto the jewel case. And I just put the orange in the wrong place. Looks like we're going to be doing yellow in a new area. We'll do a different tool there. I made an unintentional boo-boo. Shh, don't tell anybody, you guys. that I messed up. Okay, bring the yellow down. So many ways to use, like I said, you don't have to buy the really expensive markers, which is so awesome. Dark tone, blend it out with the lighter one, around we go. Dark tone, blend it out with the lighter one. Trying to go fast. I'm going to get to the background. Okay. Now, can she get the caps on the right marker? I just saw a spot I didn't blend well. There.
Polly asked, would a Posca pen work?
Yeah. Posca pens are a paint marker. Okay, I think I did good. And let's get the rubber band on it so I can find this trio again. Okay. Very good. It's looking good. What's the next tool?
Oh no. What was that down there?
What? Did I do something? I messed up, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Did you see my boo-boo? We're going to have to use a different tool. Okay, I'm going to move these.
Yeah. Danny says, happy accidents.
Yep. Maybe we'll use some gold right there or something. Okay. Oh, and then I store my super tips tipped down so that all the ink is right at the tip that you're using, so it's ready to go the minute you pick it up. So it goes in my container up there, just like this huge bundle. Okay, going up. I can get it in without dropping them. Excellent. Okay. Oh, spare rubber band. Okay, what's the next tool, Steve?
Twinkling H2O.
Oh. Okay, that's these little guys. So many fun water-friendly tools. Okay, I'm going to bring up this.
Jennifer says, apparently it is all on the paper. Thought it was me.
No, it's not you. Oh, we have to do like this. It's not you. Oh,
Of course, there's always
always
you can
skill
learn.
to learn. Practicing always helps. But no, it's not you. It's pairing the right tool with the right paper. It really does make a difference. It's like putting the right color pencils with my color pencil paper, the right marker with the marker paper, the water-friendly tools with the watercolor paper, and you're going to all of a sudden be like, well, that was my problem. Now all these things I've been watching on YouTube, the techniques that I've been trying and practicing, oh man, it's going to make all the difference. You said a phrase to Carter the other day about practicing. What was that phrase you used?
Oh,
I think I dropped something.
yeah, the saying of
Practice.
how there's a saying, practice makes perfect, and that's not true. Perfect practice makes perfect.
Right.
Because if you practice bad techniques all the time, then you're going to get bad techniques.
Yeah. And I think that's kind of, when you said that, I was like, that's like the paper. We can practice all day long, but if you don't get the right tools and the right paper and you don't get taught the right thing, you're just going to keep being frustrated and feeling like I'm the failure. I'm the one that I'm not talented. I'm not doing it right. And it's not true. It's just that maybe you're missing one element, one piece of knowledge, or the right paper, or the right I don't know.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm just so passionate about doing this YouTube channel and passing on these things that I learned, because when I started however many years ago on YouTube, there was so few resources like this where people were like, this is what you do, and this is why it works and why it doesn't work, and don't be frustrated, keep going. And So I'm so grateful that there are more YouTubers now out there doing stuff like this and helping all of us to feel and to be successful and you know, go out there and buy the cool tools, and this is how you do it, and have fun. Get out there and have fun. Okay, I don't know much about these tools, and I know some of you can fill in the gaps. I bought a stash of stamping tools a couple years ago, and mixed in with the stash, I bought it secondhand, and mixed in with the stash were these. And when Polly was over here the other day, I pulled them out and I said, she's all, that's what these are. And she has a stash of these. And lo and behold, they are water-friendly tools. I thought they went with stamping, maybe because card makers use them, and that's why I got them. But that's what these are. They're water activated colors. So let's go for this kind of peachy orange color, because I think it will play well with these other tones we've got going on. But that's what it looks like. Look at the shiny pretties. Shiny pretties.
Polly says, I have a whole box of twinkling H2Os. Want some? Head over. LOL.
Yeah, she's got a lot, and I've just got a few, which I'm really quite pleased that I have at least a few. So let's activate it and see what this lovely thing does. So
Helene says, it's like baking a cake. You must have the right ingredients.
right. And, you know, anyone can, if you've got the right tools and stuff, you can make a cake work right? It's like when you have someone who knows how to cook, and they can come into your kitchen, and all of a sudden they can do amazing things in your kitchen, and you're like, wow, how did you make that from the stray ingredients in my fridge? But they can do that, and I can't do that. But if you get the right knowledge and teach me how to do it, then yeah, I could recreate it. So that's what I'm wanting to do for all of you, is teach you what I know, what I've been learning, and it's so fun. I love it. I love empowering all of you and getting you as excited as I am about these tools. Okay, so I sprayed it with water to kind of get it going, get the juices going on it. And now I've got a nice brush, and we're getting the brush good and wet, and let's look at it together.
Wow, Robin. Oh, sorry.
Anytime we play with glitter, I always like get
Yeah,
quiet and
it's so nice.
and bring it up to the camera, and we all have a moment together with the glitter, right?
Robin says that they have 200 colors in the twinkling H2Os that she found on Etsy.
200? Oh my goodness.
Amy Young says, did someone say cake?
Yeah, I'm kind of jonesing for cake now. I wonder, I guess Walmart's open 24 hours.
Lisa says, always make sure that you wipe the edge of the pot of the Twinks so that it's dry when you put it away. Oh. If wet, they can seal permanently.
Oh, okay. That's good to know, because I tend to get a little messy when I get excited. Okay, are we activated? I'm feeling like we're activated. I'm feeling like background here. I don't know. I haven't literally never played with these. So here we go.
All right.
Let's play. I'm going to background. Okay. I'm guessing it's going to be like the Pearl Colors and the Starry Colors by Kuretake, where, tell me if I'm right, the more you layer them, the more strong the pigment and the better the twinkling effect is going to be. Am I right? I know we're going to need more water in this.
What you're watching says they look like eyeshadow. So pretty.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
We
need to make our card that says FSS warning.
We totally need that.
You do not need these.
So, because I got these in a second-hand box, I have no idea how much these are. Like, are these $50 a pot?
So they're called Twinkling H2Os? Is that what they're called?
They're by Luminart. That's what my pots say. I literally have no concept of how expensive these are. Do they come in sets? Do you have to buy them on a special website?
Where did you get them again?
Once upon a time, a long time ago, I off of KSL, I bought a set of stamps. And when we met up with her, she says, "You want some more stuff?" And I was like, "Sure, whatever." And she gave me a box of like some old stamps and old stamp pads and things, and in it was these. And I was like, "I don't know what they are." And they went into my drawer with all my other stamp supplies. And then, yeah, come to find out, they're glitter, and I should have been playing with them all along. So, like I said, I have no concept of cost or where to send you to get them. I don't know how to store them, other than people are saying now I need to be really careful. And do they dry permanent? Can you reactivate them with water? All these questions I have.
Oh my goodness. Roberta says 6-pack is $70.
What?
Donna, though, says $3 to $4 each.
Oh.
Although Roberta says she did find one that's $30. Teresa found one $66 for $5.
What?
I told Teresa she needs to repeat after me. I do not need these. I do not need these.
Yeah, at those prices, my goodness, that's like
And
liquid
how much
gold.
did you get them for?
Free.
Oh my goodness.
Because
You had no idea
no,
what
she
you had.
was downsizing her craft stuff and selling off her extras. And so I was buying from her some rubber stamps. And we met up, and she's all, "You want them? You want all these extra stamps and stuff?" And I was like, "Sure." I had no idea what they were. And she's all, "Okay, here, you have them." And I was like, "Cool." And I put them away.
Kaylee says, I love that orange. It makes the flower pop.
Yeah.
And Teresa says, nope, I don't need them that much.
No, and remember I was playing with, if you guys have seen, today I uploaded the video of myself painting the mandala on the back wall. And I painted it with a set that I got from Hobby Lobby, and they were metallic paints. And it was a set of 24 colors, I think it was 24, for only $20 full price at Hobby Lobby. So with your coupon,
Are those...
a lot less.
Gary says the shimmers from last week are cheaper. Is that what...
Yeah.
it's referring
Those
to?
are the pearl colors from last week. So there's a lot of this kind of product out there that would be a lot less money than what you guys are finding for these. I wonder if they're discontinued and then that's why there's so much money now. I have so many questions.
Yeah. Mia Bear wants the Paul Rubin shimmer set.
Ooh. Anything with the word shimmer makes me happy. Let's keep stirring this in. Now I feel all bougie painting with these expensive. Maybe I shouldn't be doing an entire background with them. No, use it up, wear it out, right, you guys? That's my goal for this year. Use it up, wear it out. Don't feel so precious.
People are doing some looking around and finding them for different prices, kind of depending on if they're in sets or not.
Okay.
It also depends on the color, it sounds like.
Kind of going down patchy, but so does those starry colors and the pearl colors. The first layer usually goes down patchy, and then the second layer you can really smooth out the patchiness.
Robin says the original company, the original person who created these sold the company, and then it didn't do so well, so I think the company is in business. They're just making them in small batches.
It would be hard to compete with like Kuretake and all those big companies.
Then our poor Canadian friends are even more expensive for them.
Oh dear. I'm telling you, we all need to put together a big trip to Japan.
When you said that earlier, people were like, yes.
Wouldn't that be fun? Oh my goodness.
Carolyn says, yes, they are rocking the background.
Yeah, look at that. I feel like we need to go all the way to the edge though. Can't wait to move it in the light. That moment when we get to move it in the light. Oh, that was a happy bird that just went by my window. Okay.
Lark says, I have the Paul Rubin glitter set, and it is very pigmented and sparkly. I feel like they are the best, so I'm stopping there. Maybe.
I don't think you should ever stop. But using it up and wearing it out is a good idea too. Just use it up and then you can buy more, right? Okay. I'm going to push this all the way to the edge here.
Oh, Robin thinks maybe this company is out of business.
Ah.
The original maker made 120 colors, and I got mine from her.
That's probably why the prices are all over the place.
Now, Polly says Yasutomo has pearl watercolors, a set of 21 for $7.56.
Oh, that's a deal. Okay, I'm going to take it all the way to the edge here. Now I'm wishing I had taken the...
Although Teresa says they're really not that great.
We'll see when we move it in the light, right, you guys? I just heard something fall really loud downstairs. I'm going to send Steve down to make sure the kiddo and the catto is okay. I think the cat was being naughty. Oops, I've kind of went over the edge a bit. That's all right. This is far from perfect, this coloring page, but that's okay because we are here to just have fun. I think I'm going to do a line of some sort of gold in the center because we have a little oopsie here to cover. But maybe we'll do a different gold than this. So I need to wipe off the edge. Right, Rose? Did you hear that sound downstairs? Daddy will come back and tell us what happened. So I'm wiping the edge off so that it won't seal up. Okay, we have wiped the edge. Is everything okay?
You should get knock the folding table over.
Oh,
Didn't fall on him or anything.
oh good, because that table's heavy. Okay, let's see. It did go down patchy, but that's not surprising. All of my metallic paints go down patchy for the first coat. And then if I don't like that look, if I want it to not look so painterly and patchy, I always have to go in with a second layer. So I'm not mad at it for being patchy. It's what I expected. So let's move it in the light. Are we ready? If you're doing dishes, stop doing dishes and look up and see the metallic effect. Are we ready? Oh, oh. We need to look at last week's and see if it's more metallic-y or less metallic-y. Ooh, I like it. It's pretty. Is it dry? I think it's dry. Oh, it's still a little bit wet. Let's give it a second more to dry and then we'll see. We have a few white spots still left, so we need to do another product. Oh boy, we're way over time. I didn't realize we were a half hour over. Let's go gel penning then to finish up the details. It's always a quick way to add a few details. And then I think we're going to have to do more watercolor madness, because there are more products we haven't even touched yet.
How many different products did you use on this one page?
Okay. One. Sorry, I'm concentrating. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 or 12. 12. At least 12. Be fun to go back to the video and rewatch it and count, huh? This is a Sakura Jelly Roll Metallic that I'm using. And I don't know, do you guys think gel pens are technically water-based? They're not alcohol. Would you guys call gel pens water-based? Because you can... What would you call them, Steve? Are they...
They seem like they're their own thing, aren't they? Kind of the gel.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure it may be made of water, but I don't know that it's water.
Water's probably an ingredient. And I still think glycerin is in gel pens.
Yes.
That's my theory. Someday I'm going to get to someone and ask them. Okay, we still have white in here too, but I think I need to call it a done for tonight. So I want to flip over to last week's and we can compare the metalliciness of last week's metallic background with this week's metallic background and see who was more metallic-y. So let's go full page here and catch the light here. Oh,
that is cool. Somebody had mentioned earlier it reminds them of bronze or copper.
Oh yeah. And I quite like the painterly look, the not solid, like when you use a marker, you can get a real solid block of color. I like the streaky, modeled look of the painterly strokes, so it doesn't bug me. I guess it kind of bugs me in certain spots. I'd probably touch it up a little bit. I like the little bling in the middle too. Okay, now let's compare it with last week's. So this was the more inexpensive paint from last week. Whoa, I kind of think that one beats it.
Yeah, it's fun.
And this one is available on Amazon, and you don't have to spend the weird high prices of a discontinued paint. So that's cool. I like that. There it is. Oh, wait, wrong way.
You are saying it's a water-based gel.
Yeah,
Gel pens.
Gel pens. Okay, flip the page. Let's add a date. Gotta date it. What's today's date, Steve?
The 5th, June.
June 5th. Oh, here's the troublemaker cat.
Mishka.
June 5th. So what do you think, Steve? Are you going to color next week?
Are you innocent? Sure.
Was there anything we used today that you're like, I really need to get my hands on that?
I don't know. I'll have to think about that.
June 5th, 2019. Okay, we did it. We have officially colored that's 2 weeks in a row where we have finished a mandala. I love these simple mandalas. I love that it gives us room to play and experiment big areas. Let's hold it up this way and see. I love the colors too. Oh my goodness. This is so much fun. I love these mandalas. I'm so excited for all of you to get your hands on the watercolor paper. I can't wait for Steve to start printing. I told him as soon as he starts printing, we need to take a picture and put out a big shout out saying, it's official, we're printing the books on the paper for everybody. So we totally need to do that.
Yeah.
So very good.
For the previous week, what was the blue?
I'll show you the blue from last week. And they have, oops, next drawer down. These ones.
Oh, that's right.
Okay, last
Those
week
are amazing.
we used these. And Kuretake makes several lines of these. I have the Star Colors and the Pro Colors. Both are fantastic, and I can't wait to swatch them. And they have different lines, not just Pearl and Starry. So check them out. They are a little bit pricey. I also have, which is what I used for the mandala on the back wall. I used these. So if you have access to Hobby Lobby, these were only $19.99. I think I had a 50% off coupon when I bought these. So I got them for $10. And it's a full set of metallics. You get 2 rows of metallics. This row here, and then underneath there's another tray that's a little tricky to get into, but you have to kind of forgive them because it was so cheap. So you get 2 rows of metallics. So if you have access to a Hobby Lobby, that's a really cost-effective way to get your hands on some watercolor metallic paints if you don't want to invest in the Kuretake versions. That's my advice. I noticed, Lindsay the Frugal Crafter has a video where she compares a whole bunch of water-based metallic paints, and there was another one, another watercolorist, I can't think of her name. I'll look for the link and post it on the Facebook group. So follow us on the Facebook group. That's this one right here. I'll post that YouTube video where there was another YouTuber that I follow that compared a whole bunch of watercolor metallic paints as well. And you can see what her opinions are on all of these paints too. Because, oh man, we all need more bling in our lives. I think so. So you can go check that out too. I'll put that link this evening sometime into that group so you guys can watch that. So don't forget, we'll be back here next Wednesday, and Steve will be in this chair, and he will be painting on some watercolor paper, and it will be another manly coloring page that he'll probably be painting. We'll see. Maybe he'll want to do a mandala. I don't know. We'll see what he wants to do. So make sure you come and join us to celebrate Father's Day next week, and we'll get Steve over here and let him have fun and experience the watercolor paper. I don't know if he has ever actually colored on watercolor paper, so I'm kind of anxious for him to see the power of pairing the right tools with the right paper like this, and see his reaction when that happens, when you actually get the right tool with the right paper like that. He's felt it with the color pencil paper, he's felt it with the marker paper and our other papers, but not with the watercolor paper like this. He's seen me do it, but he hasn't actually felt it. So join us next Wednesday to enjoy that experience with Steve. I hope you had a good time. Don't forget to come and download the first manly coloring page so that you can celebrate all the men in your lives. Thank you everyone for all your support. Steve, do we have some people to say thank you to?
We do.
Okay, why don't you bring that up and we can say thank you.
Thank you, Amber, Mary Lynn, Jerry, Polly, Melinda, and Dawn.
Thank you so much, all of you. It really does make a huge difference for our business when you support us monetarily like that. So thank you so much. And we sure appreciate everybody and all the support we get and all the thumbs ups and all the shares and the comments and the likes. It all helps so much. So thank you so much. Yep. Hope you had a good time. We went way over again. I got a little crazy, a little carried away. Yep. But that's what happens when you get all into your coloring. You guys know that. So thanks again for joining us, and we'll see all of you next week. Bye-bye, everybody.